Hey everybody, Burgundy Pyre back at it again. So today we're going to do something a little bit different than what we've been doing so far on the channel. We're going to take a bit of a break from our playthrough for our strength build, our level 137 strength build that we've been creating. And today I'm going to go ahead and showcase some PvP and a little bit of PvE just to give you a feel of what the build is truly capable of. But this is going to be my caster build. Dissident Wave on one of my videos previously was checking to see if I had a disrespectful caster. This is the closest thing that I've got. It's kind of disrespectful just because it's really annoying to fight against, just having been on the other side. So let me go ahead and get into just what this build is all about. So as you can tell, we've really light armor. We have a light roll, which is one of the most annoying portions of this build. And let's just go ahead and go into the spells, the stats, and what we're going to be doing with it, what our approach is going to be when it comes to fighting against other players. So just to look at the stats really briefly, see, her name is Ephemeris, 55 Vigor. I like to be around 55 to 60. I think I might have stated that in the past. 24 Mind, that gives us a pretty comfortable FP bar. Nothing too crazy, but you know, we have to make some concessions. 23 Endurance, which is just about what we need in order to be able to maintain a light roll in this build. 8 Strength, we haven't touched that a bit because we're only pretty much using our casting implements, and the strength requirement doesn't really matter even if you can't reach that. 13 Dexterity, that's just so we can use I actually don't have it equipped right now, but the Clean Rot Knight heavy thrusting sword, or not heavy thrusting sword, the Clean Rot Knight sword, that requires 13 Dexterity, so we can use that two-handed if at all necessary. And you see we have quite a few different staves that we can use, and right here you can tell we don't have the strength requirement to be able to use them. This is going to be our basic setup. We're going to have the Carrion Glintstone Staff in the offhand, and the Carrion Regal Scepter in the main hand. In the offhand, the Glintstone Staff boosts our Carrion Sword sorceries by around 15%, which is going to be really important. We could actually switch our offhand to the Azure Glintstone Staff. We're not really going to be doing any casting with the offhand staff ever, but the Azure Glintstone Staff is really good because it allows for your cast speed to be increased. We also have the Lusat's Glintstone Staff, which we can switch over to our main hand, which will give us more damage, but it does take an extra 50% for every cast that we're going to be doing. So if you're going to get just like a one shot, you're trying to catch somebody unaware, then you'll probably want to switch over to this one and use right here Terra Magica set up from afar and snipe them with the Cannon of Haima. That's a pretty good setup that you can use, and in order for us to be able to use that, you'll see we go to a medium load. We would switch our offhand to the Misericord, and we'd switch our hand to something else. We have to also switch our leggings to something a little bit lighter, so probably something like no pants at all. But once we do that, that's really going to increase our one-shot potential, and actually we'd probably be better off just switching to a dagger instead of the Misericord. And you see that we also have Endure on this, so we can do a couple of different things. If we want to use the Ash of War Endure, we can go ahead and switch, and then we could just kind of spam somebody down with that. And that's if we are going to trade, but like I said, this is a lighter build, so it's not really meant to be trading, but it's also good to have that option available to you if you need it. And you might want to switch over to the Azure Glintstone Staff if you're trying to do a little bit more casting from afar and somebody's running away from you. But our primary setup is going to be just like this. Let me go ahead and put everything back the way that we had it before. There we go. And you notice our talismans. We have the Radagon icon, the Godfrey icon, the Graven Mass, and Graven Skull talismans. So this build is entirely focused on getting as much damage potential as we can out of our casting implements as possible. We also have the Golden Order Seal, and that's for our solitary incantation, which is right here, Law of Regression, and that's just in case somebody's trying to buff up or debuff you, and you really don't want to contend with that. So we do have it in our back pocket. I might just let it go unless it's somebody that's just making it so that I can't do any damage to them at all with certain flasks or buffs, like Barrier of Gold, or the physic that lets you heal from any non-physical damage. So that's going to be really valuable for that. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and hop into some PvE. And let me finish the stats, apologies. We have 80 intelligence. Technically we have 77, but we're using the Queen's Crescent Crown in order to get to that 80 mark, which is pretty much that cap that you want to hit if you're going to be doing pure magic damage. And we have some pretty good armor here that looks okay, and it's not going to be encumbering us. We only have 15 poise, so like I said, this is not a build meant for trading. But let me go ahead and show you on these two Tree Sentinels what the damage potential looks like. And our physic is going to have the Crimson Bubble tier, and the Magic Shroud and Crack tier. That's going to allow us to survive when we usually die, as long as we don't get too much damage at once, to supersede the amount that you would need to be at for the physic to take effect. And the Magic Shroud and Cracked tier is just going to once over increase our magic potential, or our magic attack potential. So we're going to go and take that. And one quick thing when you are fighting these guys, if you creep up behind one of them slowly, you can get them to start walking down. So we'll let him get a little bit further away, and then we're going to go all in on this one right here. So what we could do is just kind of start off with that Cannon of Haima just for some one-shot big chunk damage, but that's not really super necessary. We're just going to try to slice him down with the Carrion Slicer. Probably shouldn't have used my physics so early, but right about now we're good to go ahead and go. And let's go ahead and initiate combat. See that we're doing really big chunks of damage. Ouch. And we have that light roll to be able to get us out of dodge, because we're trying to be as elusive as possible. Ouch. But you see just how quickly he's going down. And yeah, so it's pretty strong build, but the real pressure comes when you are in PvP and you have to worry about getting in and out without taking too much damage. And Carrion Slicer is something that kind of lends itself to a trade unless you're being really selective with your shots. But I'll show that in a bit when possible. Let's go ahead and take out the second Tree Sentinel, and you see the damage potential is really high. We don't have to worry too much about anything that they're throwing at us because we have the light roll. Missed on my dodge right there, but it's okay. And the Tree Sentinels, we're using the Slicer a lot because they have the ability to deflect, or reflect rather, any of the castings that we do from afar. Let's see if he'll elect to do so. I just need to be careful because it's going to hurt me if he does it properly. Oh, well, he's not choosing to. We also have the Cannon, or the Gavel of Haima, which is really good if you're going to be in a trading situation. It gives you plenty of hyper armor for you to be able to just get some people off of you, especially if you're going to be surrounded. And we also have the Shard Spiral, which we can follow up into the Comet. And it's really good because you can actually switch up the timings just by how long you decide to charge the two. So if you want to do a fully charged Shard Spiral, and then a non-charged, didn't really show it very well right there, just because I waited a little bit too long. Non-charged Comet, it's really good for roll catching, or you could just charge it just a little bit longer and release it whenever you like to be able to roll catch your opponent once they do start trying to get away from you. But yeah, that's just it for a bit of a PvE showcase. And now I'm going to jump into some invasions, and I'll go ahead and commentate what my thought processes are as you know, as I'm doing them. So I'll see y'all in just a bit. So here we are. We're going to go ahead and initiate our invasions, and let's just jump off immediately and lose a big chunk of health because we're impatient. We don't want to run down the proper way. See, we're in the deep root depths. It's pretty good to have a pretty basic knowledge of what enemies are around when you're going through invasions, just so you can know where you can kind of run to. Nothing too crazy here, and I usually don't run away unless I really need to. But there's our target. There's probably another Phantom, or potentially two here, because generally speaking, unless somebody wants to, they're not going to get invaded in a 1v1 scenario. But let's see. Let's go and take our Physic. And we try to do that as late as we can so we can get as much active uptime as possible. And we see he's using a two-handed thrusting sword. And let's go ahead and see how he does against all of our different methods. He's just running away right now. Alright. He might be, well, definitely trying to heal, but he might be waiting for a hunter or for his friends to show up, so we do have to be aware of that. And we see that he pulled out his casting implement. Oh, and there he put on Barrier of Gold. So now's a great time for us to, well, let's get him off of this really quick. He's not going to enjoy that. Give him something to think about, to respect. And if he does give us the distance that we want, well, we're just going to go ahead and try to spam him down with Slicer. And a good finisher is Star Shower because it tracks really well. But GG. We would have went for Law of Aggression there, since he did put on one of those buffs that I was referencing earlier to reduce our magic damage, but he immediately put the pressure on, which is kind of what you want to do against the mage, so we weren't able to do so. But it turned out pretty well. It seems like he was just trying to do a PvP playthrough, which is pretty fun. More power to him. But we're going to go ahead and initiate our next invasion here and see how things go. I'll cut to when we get one. Right, so let's see how our next invasion goes. Crumbling, Farum, Azula. Going to be near the dragon that's active, so that's always fun. He loves to hit me more than the enemy, it seems, a lot of times. How many enemies do we have? I see the host. I do not see any help. If they're truly by themselves, I might just not try to jump them. I think they might be trying to attack me though. Or are we just running by? Okay, we can run away. Let's see how this goes. Okay, well, I guess we were not on the same page with the non-aggression pact. He's just trying to spam me down, it seems. Please stop that. I'm being a little annoying. See if we can get him with this combo that I was talking about earlier. Nope. Just gonna keep on getting out the way, which is perfectly fine. That's what he should do. But I would be lying if I said it was enjoyable. Just gonna go ahead and take him out. Yeah, sometimes we do just have to spam people down with Carrion Slicer, just kind of get them out of their element. And then if we can get off that first hit, generally speaking, it's going to kind of stun lock them a little bit. If not physically, then mentally, they're going to be like, I'm taking a lot of damage really quick. What should I do next? And that's kind of what happened there to finish up that invasion. But I really thought that we were going to have a little bit more camaraderie. Just try to get away from the dragon and have a nice 1v1. But then he just started poking me. But let's go ahead and get into our next invasion. I'll cut to when we get there. Alright. Here we are in the Brace of the Haligtree. This one, I've had some of my best and worst invasions here, because if you got a dedicated gang squad that's already cleared out this area, it is not fun to contend with. And it's also pretty easy to stay away from the enemies if you're not just going to over-dedicate yourself. But let's see how this one goes. Let's go and go down the ladder. Sounds like they might be over here. Yep. Alright. It's always good to be able to take out one person pretty quickly. Now we have the host. Let's try to rush them down before they can heal. And see how this goes. Not very fun to deal with everything that's just flowing around. But it's the perks of the mage build. You can give them so many different looks they might not be able to contend with. Looks like there's somebody running in the background over there. I wonder if they were helper. A foe. But yeah, let's just do one or two more invasions and then we'll wrap it up for the video. But you can see the build itself is pretty strong. It's just, it takes a different type of approach than a lot of other more melee oriented builds, especially considering we don't have the ability to trade. It's really noticeable, something really quick, like that Ansper Rapier that the person was using 2 invasions back. But yeah, just you have to pick your moments, and it's also really strong if you're able to catch your opponent unaware. But let's see how we do. Hopefully we don't just get an immediate hostess entered the boss fog and fought the area arena boss or whatever. Here we are in the Grand Cloister. Not a very fun spot to invade because you're probably gonna have to contend with some Scarlet Rot. And let's see how this goes. Well, they're immediately dead. Are they not dead? Oh, they are dead. Okay. I think I might have ruined something. They look like they might have been having fun. My apologies. But yeah, it's a lot of damage potential, and you saw that the Cannon of Hyma knocked them off of the side, so it's really good for situations like that as well, especially if you see somebody on a precarious placed bridge or ledge. Then a well-placed Cannon of Hyma, even if it doesn't one-shot the enemy, like you see, it didn't even put up the Terra Magica, it can just, you know, do some area of effect damage, splash, and then everybody goes tumbling down. But I'll go ahead and cut to the last invasion for the video, or it looks like we're getting it right now, so no need to cut. Hopefully it goes well. If I win or lose, it's going to be the last invasion of the video, and then we're just going to recap the build really quickly. And if anybody has any other suggestions for vids that I could do going forward, I have a myriad of different builds that I have. I have a Faith build, kind of Dex Mage build. Oh, this looks like it's not going to be very fun. It's just waiting for me. Let's see. Looks like he knows what he's doing. I don't like fighting against people that knows what they're doing. Hopefully we can take him out before he gets any chance to... Oh, see, yep, immediately nullifying my my damage. This is not going to be fun. Okay. I don't like fighting people that know what they're doing. Ouch. Yeah, trying to hit me with a panic roll, you're doing a lot of damage there, friend. Okay, let's see if we can get him with this combo. Yep, we did. Alright. Not going to bow because I did heal, but... it's an invasion, it's not a duel. We're not setting up for anything, and you could have a hunter come out of nowhere. You can have somebody with the bolt of Grand Sex waiting for you. So just trying to get as much damage as you can and end the fight as quickly as possible while picking your shots is pretty important in Invasion. I've been burned too many times trying to have a respectful 1v1 when I'm not in a dueling setting. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for the PvP portion of the video, and we've already done the PvE earlier. But just to recap, it's really good to be able to just spam people down with different types of spells that you have, and it's really nice to be able to give them different looks. I like to use the Carrion Slicer as our main sort of offensive focus. Somebody's running away. A Swift Glitstone Shard is pretty good, either to finish somebody off or to keep them honest. The Star Shower is a great finisher as well, or it's just great to kind of keep people off of you, because if they get hit with all of those, they're going to take around 700 to 800 damage, and that's not fun at all. The Gavel of Heinma, just like we indicated in that, or showcased in that last invasion, is really good, especially for a build that has no poise. If you do just need to get somebody off of you, then that'll do the trick. The Shard Spiral into Comet is really good because it gives them way too much to think about at times, and so many different timings you have to worry about, especially if you're lower on health. And then Terra Magica into Cannon of Heinma is one of my all-time favorites. I'll showcase it in the future. And if I can find a clip that I have of a different iteration of this build that's gotten a pretty good snipe, I'll go ahead and add that in there afterwards. That in the commentary is a bit of an Easter egg. Ambush Shard, I haven't really used it too much. If you're going to get a fingerprint shield, I honestly don't think Ambush Shard will be enough. But if you're in a ganking situation and, you know, they're not being as defensively sound as they should be, then you can get a couple of cheap shots in on them, maybe frustrate them, get them to put away their shields or get super aggressive so that you can burn them down really quick with the Carrion Slicer. But yeah, so there's just a whole bunch of different things that you can do, and I love how dynamic it is and how you can still get kind of into melee range with Carrion Slicer. You're not really sacrificing too much with respect to the number of approaches that you can do. We're just sacrificing our ability to take damage, right? So it's just, we have to worry about taking more damage, but we're dealing a lot more damage than an average, more melee-focused build can do, at least in certain respects, and you have different ranges that you can operate from. But once again, thank you everybody for watching. If you have any suggestions or anything that you would like to see going forward, please don't hesitate to show it to me. If you have any criticisms, concerns, or anything to that effect, please go ahead and comment it. If you are going to get frustrated about me not bowing and everything in a supposed 1v1, I'll just say I've been ambushed by people that I thought it was a 1v1 many times in the past, and it's not very much fun. You feel like, oh, well, I was trying to do my best and have a good, nice, honorable duel with somebody, and then I just got ambushed for all of my health because the damage potential in Elden Ring is still pretty ridiculous. So that's going to be my response pretty much to that. But once again, like I said, everybody have a fantastic rest of your day. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'd love for it to be interactive. Tell me what you want to see. And we could definitely do some more and different variety type of stuff going forward. But bye, y'all. Burgundy Pyre's out.